Good afternoon, members of the media. Welcome to our presser ahead of our game against Cape Town City this weekend. I'm joined by SuperSport United head coach Kaitano Tembo. Coach, big one this weekend. Just share your thoughts on the upcoming game.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's always going to be tough. Looking at since the 6th of January, we've been playing games back to back, and it's not only us; it's throughout the league. So, and if you look at City, they're a team that has been doing well, and you can see that they are now playing with a little bit of confidence. For me, at present, I see them as one of the best teams in terms of their structure and their playing style. They play with a lot of balance in terms of attack and defense. So it's not going to be an easy game, but I think we have to put behind us our last result, especially our last two results, which haven't been good, and really focus on this game. And I think with a little bit of a break, a rest which we've given the guys to recover, we will have enough legs to play against City.
Voyo, I see your hand is up. You can go right ahead.
Thanks, Brian. Good afternoon, Coach.
Afternoon, Voyo.
Starters, Coach. Yes, could you just give us an update, just a team update, maybe on the injuries and the availabilities? And also, Coach, you speak also so much about the sort of the congested fixture list and just how much it's having its effects on certain players. Does the exit from the Nedbank Cup sort of now give you a little bit of space to maneuver? Is it I don't want to say blessing in disguise, but does it sort of come like that to say, okay, now we don't have this in front of us to chase anymore, so it sort of opens up room for us to maneuver? Is that sort of exit from the Nedbank Cup more of a blessing in disguise when you talk so much about having a congested?
Yeah, look, I think our approach, has always been taking one game at a time, and I won't say it is a blessing in disguise, because I think it's also always a challenge, and it also pushes us, as coaches as well, to work under, trying circumstances, to work under pressure. And also the players to work under pressure, to play under pressure. It requires them also to look after themselves in terms of recovery. And I would have wanted for us to go all the way, in the Nedbank Cup, because also it gives us, it always gives you an extra game whereby you can also try and give opportunities to other players. But nevertheless, I think also it also has given us an opportunity as well to try and have more days in terms of recovery, in terms of rest, in terms of also try to work with the players on the pitch, because since the 6th of January we haven't had an opportunity to really train properly. It's always been matches which are also overloads and recovery, and then you have a little bit of a tactical session to prepare for the next game. So not really to work on your strengths or your mistakes to try and improve the team on the field, because on the training field, so that will give us an opportunity whereby we can try and do that. And I've seen some of our young players, the overload might have been a little bit too much for them, but also I think it's part of their development as young players, to test themselves, to play, to try and see how far can they go. And I'm really, quite happy with the progress that we've made. And there are always going to be mistakes, but it's part of learning. And coming to the squad at the moment, we still have Teboho Mokoena out with a knee injury, as well as Besh, who we had a fractured cheekbone. He's still out. There's Julie Manziba, who's also still out. And those are the only players who are not really available, because they had a little bit of long-term injuries. But the rest of the squad is available for weekend in this game.
Karabo?
Thank you very much, Brian. Good afternoon, Coach. How are you?
Afternoon, Karabo. Good, and you?
I'm all right, Coach. I think this is probably the first time in a long time where your club, well, under your stewardship, SuperSport United, has lost back-to-back games. Obviously in the FA Cup, and then again in the league midweek. So would you say that you've been also working on the psyche and mentality of the players? That listen, guys, well, 2 back-to-back losses, it's not the end of the world, or has it just been more work done on the training ground more than anything and not mental? Thank you.
Thanks, Karabo. I think it's a very good question, and it's like you said, it's been probably the first time we've lost, back-to-back matches, and we don't want to try and have doubts in the players' minds, because we are bound to lose matches. It's always about believing, keeping faith in what we do, and we're always gonna have situations where it might not work, but in having faith in our abilities and our structures and what we have been doing and what took us to be where we are is very key, and that's what we're trying to instill in the players' minds, for us to be strong mentally, not to give up, because it's still a long way. I think the second round has just started. So it's still a long way, and there's still a lot of football to be played. So, and we're still gonna lose matches as well. And it's about how we carry our own, and we learn from our previous matches.
Darmaine, I see your hand is up.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Coach.
Good afternoon.
Just on 2 points for me. One is, you speak about learning from previous matches. One of the last time, correct me if I'm wrong, Coach, the last time you played Cape Town City, they beat you guys 1-0. But obviously that was a very different time, because of that they had Kamati Rasmus in the team, and you were the one who actually scored. How different is this game now? Especially, it's possibly 2 of the best teams this season. Going into it. So I just want to ask how different is that game, is this current game. And then another thing I want to ask you, Coach, is what's the status on your left back search? We know that Kiki has been playing as a left back. He's a centre back. You just said Bash now it has a cheekbone injury. So, obviously you said it before that you guys are thin in that position. So I just wanted to find out what's the status like in terms of securing a left back for SuperSport this season? Thanks, Coach.
I'll start with the last question. I think we've had a few setbacks in that position at left back. I think our last game we played Kudamahashi, but wanting him to be a little bit more high and help in our build-up, he's the one who played left back. Because we also, lost, a Grand Kekana the morning of the game, because he fell sick. He had, fluish symptoms. So we had to try and, shuffle, the back a little bit. But in terms of the search, we have options, but we're still, weighing our options, because some of the players which we are looking at also, they are contracted to clubs, so we can't really get into that, but we are still looking. But it's also not easy, because of where we are in the season. Not each and every team would want to just lose their players at this time of the season. So, but we are looking, and hopefully before the end of the window we might be able to get someone. Coming into our matches against, Cape Town City, they've always been closely contested, and 2 teams who play, who have, probably similar, playing style in terms of structure. And I can see, Cape Town City, that they've been doing very well. in their previous, matches. It's only the last, game against, Pirates where they lost 2-0. But I still see them as one of the best teams. And last season they beat us 1-0 in the bubble, where we also created a lot of, opportunities. But now we're playing at home. I think it's very important for us to really believe in ourselves and go out there and impose our game, to them, and try and make sure that we don't allow them to play their normal game, because they are very effective when they've got people getting behind, making runs from deep, and when they play in triangles as well. So our pressing has got to be very key, but also use our strength going forward as well, with Bradley, Gabuza, Evans, as well as Kampani Lungu. So it's gonna be a tough game for both sides.
Voyo, is that a new hand?
It's a new hand.
You can go ahead.
Thanks again. Maybe, Coach, I just want to get a sense of. Hello, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, you can hear you.
I just want to get a sense, Coach, how sort of the effects that would come with, not having such a big squad. And I know it's no different than any other previous season. The struggles that come with it. I mean, when you look at this congestion of fixtures, as how much, in your observation, has this affected whether it's your training? When you look at the turnover time for players to recover is not that much. In your observation, how much is this affecting the type of game you are having, the type of training you are having, and also you always having to be ready as a coach whenever an incident comes up? I think even the last one was Ghana just before the Bloemfontein Celtic game, with the flu situation. You sort of always have to be ready at the last minute to sort of change any plan that you might have made or tweak any plan. In your observation, just not having a big squad in this situation, which parts is it affecting, and how much of a struggle?
Yeah, look, I think in a normal season, before COVID, I think the number of players which we have in terms of our squad, I think you would want to have less players, not more than 25. Because it's not always easy to manage a big squad, because of, you're not going to be able to give each and everyone enough game time, and that can cause a little bit of problems in the team, and you still want to have consistency as well in terms of team selection. You can't be chopping and changing your team each and every week, and you won't have that momentum. You have to try and develop combinations as well. So for me, I would always want it to be a small squad, regardless of where we are at the moment. Because if I look back and I say, if I given all the opportunities, enough opportunities to all the players in the last 15 games which were played, and I would say yes, only a few youngsters who have just promoted, like the Talent Bata, Jesse Don, Jape Moralo, those are the only youngsters who haven't really got an opportunity to play. And if I look at the progression of all those youngsters who have been playing, Luke Flores, I think last season he started about 14 games, and this season I think he has already started about 12 games halfway through the season. So there is progression. And if I look at TT as well, last season didn't play many games, but this season he has already started I think in 3/4 of our games already. So for me, I always look at that. It's always about giving game time, to the players. Congested season, the problem is on the training pitch, because you can only improve your squad when you are training and when you are working on them, on a daily basis, when there is enough time for them, as well, to recover. There's been a huge, factor for us, because a month with playing and not really training. Like yesterday, we came back from Bloemfontein, We gave the guys off, and today we just have to try and assess and who's available, who's okay, and manage, the injuries which we might have. And tomorrow we'll do a tactical session, and that's it. And Saturday we are playing, and probably Sunday we'll do a recovery session and give them also a few days off, because we only play on Friday. So it's about managing that. That has been very key, and also a learning curve, for me as a coach as well.
I will take Karabo and then Domain. Karabo.
Oh, sorry about that, Brian.
No.
Coach, when you guys were on a bit of a winning run or straw, one thing that I've picked up is that there's a sense of brotherhood in the team. When the players were celebrating, they'd come to you, they'd hug you, they'd kiss you, they'd caress you, they'd embrace you. It shows the type of mentality that you build. It's more of a brotherhood. I could think of Sipombule as well, who's a chef on and off the pitch in terms of his passes. How did you build that understanding and that love within the players? It's something that you looks like you built for a long time. How did you build it, and how important is it for you and the players to have that amongst themselves? Thank you.
Quite a very interesting question, and a very good question as well. Look, I think when you're building a team, you've got to, build trust between the technical team and the players. And the players also have got to trust each other. And players, when you are open with them, and they know that when they work hard, they will play. And when you have a structure, in that structure, everyone is protected within that structure. So we've got a circle whereby we support each other. So it starts from here, a training, whereby each and every time, when any member of the team has had, issues, whether it's at home or in their private life, we share and we support each other. And that has been very, very key, for us as a team. So we take this as a family. We are family before footballers. So we respect each other, and we take it all the way onto the pitch. But yes, it has to start off the pitch, because you can only be stronger if you are together off the pitch, and you can only be stronger on the pitch, because family comes first. And it's not only the players and the technical team. And I think it's true throughout the club. It's how the players are treated, and it's from the office staff, goes down all the way to the groundsmen. So we always support each other. That's very key, and you can see, that's how it is as well. When we play, we fight for each other.
Domain.
Coach Domain again. Coach, I just wanted to ask you about Evans Rusike. You obviously speak about the family environment that you guys have created in the team. We saw one of your family members recently come back from injury, and also Stan Matthews was in the media saying that his contract is coming up at the end of the season, or the option rather. What he has to do is score goals, or the team might not hold on to him. So my question to you is just, Coach, what have you made of his progress so far in these few games that he's played now? And do you see him coming good for you guys in terms of scoring goals for the rest of the season?
Yeah, look, Evans has been very unlucky with injuries, since he joined us. And he's just coming back from the op, and he fell sick. I think he's missed the better part, of the season, if it's not 4 to 5 months of football. So he's just coming back. I think against Celtics, that was his first start in a very long time. But I'm happy with his progress. And regarding his, contractual, situation, for us, we always take him as our player. As long as he's still with us, He's still our player. We support him, and I think he will improve with time because we still have about 15 games, to play, and he just played his, third game now. So I'm quite optimistic that he's gonna get, better and better, and we will support him.
Taking the last three questions, Pusi, starting off with you.
Afternoon, colleagues. Afternoon, coach. My coach, just a sort of follow-up to Will's question. You said in your response, you said it is better to have a smaller squad because it's easier to manage. So what I would like to find out, is it still better to manage and have a smaller squad in a time of COVID when just about any time anyone in your players or just the staff can get infected? Thanks, coach.
Thanks, Busi. Look, in these difficult times, we all have to try and, adapt and adjust. And I think it's also a challenge for us to look after ourselves. And we've always been, telling our players and our staff that these are very challenging, times. It's not always that someone gets sick and someone gets injured, we've got to go out there and buy players. Because all over the world, teams, clubs, players, salaries and budgets are being cut, and we've got to put that into consideration. Is very important. Because what's important is everyone who's employed for the club, with the club. That's very key. So for me, as far as we have gone, I think we've managed to manage that with the squad which we have, and we can still do well and still be competitive. Because I think as a team and as a club, from the medical team, from the coaching staff, from the conditioning team, we've managed to manage the squad better, than the previous seasons, if I may put it that way. We haven't really had too many COVID cases here, and the only injuries that we've had as well are only contact injuries, not muscle injuries, which means we've really done well. So I'm quite happy with where we are and how we've managed to manage the squad during these difficult times.
Taking the last two, any takers? Just raise your hand.
Maybe can I just take one in closing from my side?
That's fine, go ahead.
Coach, I know you mentioned that, yes, I know you've already mentioned that you take it one day at a time, but you already have sort of one eye ahead of the Cape Town City game. You've got that the much needed break, I'm guessing, after this match. But after that, you've got the Soweto Giants coming after that. Are you already sort of having one eye onto those upcoming matches, or are you strictly concentrating on this one?
Look, for us, in terms of preparation, we're focusing on Cape Town City. That's very important. That's the most important game for us at the moment. The Chiefs game, we'll talk about it, on Sunday. That's when we'll start our preparations against, in fact, we'll start our preparations against Chiefs on Saturday after the game. But for now, all our eyes are on City.
Taking the last question, any takers? Are we all happy? All right, thank you, members of the media. This concludes our press conference. I will send...
What do you do?
What, Voyo? All right, members of the media, I'll be sending you the audio. Thank you so much for attending.
For Valentine's, coach. For Valentine's.
Coach, would you like to answer that before we close?
I didn't hear what you say. I just said Valentine.
What are you doing for Valentine's Day on Sunday?
Hey, I'll be a trainee.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
straight.